7:14 on a Monday.
Good morning, Dale.
Howdy. How's it going?
Good, good.
Do any motorcycle riding yesterday?
Well, I didn't do any yesterday. Saturday morning, now that was another
No,
story.
that was a nicer day.
Yeah, Saturday morning was actually nice. We got up and rolled at 7 o'clock. We went down, 235 to 65 to 123 and all the way south on and hit 7 and then came back up to Jasper. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I rode about 100.
123. Set off of 65?
Yeah, you take 235, you'll turn right on Highway 65 and you'll go
Okay.
5, 6, 7 miles,
Yeah.
and you'll go just a bit past Pendle, and 123 turns off to the left.
Okay. You went through Hasty.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I've been there.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
nothing down there but a beautiful road and scenery.
There's a little church camp our kids used to go to down there. It's pretty nice down there. Yeah.
I bet
down
it
in
is.
Newton County. Yeah. Pretty
So
country.
we had a good
no
morning.
hills
ride.
down there, are there?
It wasn't all that hot until about the time we got home. We got back about noon or so, and by then it was getting pretty warm.
Well, we got a couple of questions for Mike, Minute Mechanic today. My car's been running hot in town, and the coolant level looks okay. Boy, pick your problem.
Yeah, let's get. Yeah, there's going to be a number of solutions maybe to this one. One that pops into my head is a possibility of a cooling fan, and we don't know what kind of car this is. Possibly if they have electronic cooling fans. There's a lot of them now that have 2 electric cooling fans, and we've had a few of them come in here in the last couple of weeks. That's had one half. One of the fans works, one of them doesn't, and they'll gradually get hot. We had a lady in the other day that delivers mail, and that's what had happened to hers. So maybe it's a cooling fan issue, an electric cooling fan. Depending on the kind of car, maybe we've got a fan clutch, on an engine-driven fan, and we see those sometimes where the fan does not turn. It only kind of freewheels, and it does not draw any air in through the radiator.
I had that happen.
Yep. We've replaced a few fan clutches with that kind of stuff going on. Some of the vehicles anymore, you can look in there and the coolant level will look okay, but they have to have the air bled out of the cooling system. You see cars, a lot of them now, we see quite a few GMs where your engine actually sits higher than the radiator. So the air that's in your cooling system goes into the engine, and they have little bleeder valves. Some of them have 2. Most of them have 1, some have 2. And you've got to bleed the air out of that cooling system. Otherwise, you will have overheating issues. So, and that's been going on for a number of years in General Motors cars. And you see it in Fords and others too, but mainly I'm thinking of GM right now. But that's a big possibility. You may pour a little bit of coolant in your overflow tank, and the level there look okay, but it may not be inside the engine and inside your radiator.
So when you're bleeding the air out of that GM, though, when do you know you finally got it? I mean, will it bubble like brake fluid?
What we do with those things is we get them as full as we can with coolant, and we start them and let them run. Let me back up. We open the bleeder valves. We pour coolant in, and when it runs out of those bleeder valves, we shut them off. Put the radiator cap on. We start the engine and let it run for a little bit and build up a little bit of pressure, and then you crack those valves open. And if you get solid coolant, running out of those valves, you're good to go. Sometimes it'll spit some more air out of them, bubble, and once you get that to running solid coolant, the air's out of it. And most likely your overheating problem will be gone too.
Interesting.
Yep. That's where I would start.
Huh.
Depending on the kind of car we've got.
Interesting. Didn't know. So what about how often you change water pumps? Is it those almost a thing of the past, or?
No, they're not a thing of the past at all. They're not like the water pumps when you and I were doing this stuff. Back then we changed water pumps pretty often. The newer vehicles, we don't change as many. Some of them are going a long, long time. But yeah, we still change water pumps just about on a weekly basis. But yeah, I don't know that it's as common. Back in the old 350 Chevy and 302 Fords and all that stuff, and a lot of the newer ones are a bit easier. You remember back in the day on a 350 or some of the 318s where every accessory bracket under the hood bolted onto the water pump. Yeah. Well,
I think the Ford 351, I think you were halfway down to the timing chain by the time you got to the pump.
And now with our serpentine belt systems and all that, it's not as bad. It's just not.
See, I did the last 318 Chrysler I did, it seemed like goodness. Radiator, the shroud, the radiator, the fan, the clutch.
It's, again, for me now, you know, this is my opinion on that, and it's not, this isn't across the board, but the newer ones, for the most part, are so.
But haven't they redesigned the water pump systems to where it's more of a slinger than a pump?
I don't think so, Dale. They're still, no, it's still a pump. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you said that about how hard it is to change some of them, there was a time when some of the GM cars with the sideways 3.8 liter V6, by the time you got the belt off of it, in about 10 more minutes you'd have the water pump off, and another 10 minutes you'd have a new one on. Those were some of the easiest ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were so simple to do.
Really?
Yeah, they saw that and fixed it by putting the parts and pieces in the way. But some engineer nipped that one, and
we can't make it that easy.
No, not going to happen. But again, like a lot of stuff with these cars, it's the water pumps seem to be pretty darn durable anymore, but we still replace them.
Yep. Well, let's see. Next question. Transmission fluid is dirty, but I've been told that auto transmission fluid should not be changed. Okay.
You know, that's one of those things, and to me, in my opinion, I am not a transmission expert, never have been, and won't pretend to be one, but I've heard that story so many times, I call them urban legends, you know, that automatic transmission fluid shouldn't be changed if it's dirty. And what, you know, I always ask people when we discuss it at the shop is, you know, you change the oil in your car, you change your antifreeze, and then occasionally you'll change the differential lubes and different things like that. So why wouldn't we want to change our transmission fluid? The additive packages in those transmission fluids, they break down just like everything else does. And transmissions run hot. They're under a lot of work, you know. People that pull trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, man, we saw a guy come up Highway 7 in a Dodge diesel Saturdays. We sitting on one of the pull-offs. He had 15 round bales on a flatbed trailer. 15 round bales coming up the mountain.
There's a light load.
Yeah, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, the transmission fluid gets super hot.
Think he was running an automatic or standard?
You know, I don't know. I have no clue. But he was coming right up that mountain with it, and but the transmission fluid runs hot. It gets broke down, the additives in it, and it changes things. You know, the transmission with all these friction modifiers you see, like, you know, with the Dodge and Ford products in the transmission fluid, you need to change it occasionally, and open your owner's manual up and see what they recommend. I know for a fact that they've extended the length of time now that they recommend on transmission services over what we were used to back in the day. A lot of them now are 100,000 miles under normal driving conditions.
That man had to be a brave man, though, to be pulling 5 big old round bales on Highway
15.
7. Oh, 15 bales.
There was 15 round bales. We stood there and counted them because he went by, because it was a load. And, you know,
15 bales.
Yeah, he had a load on
That's
there.
a huge trailer.
Yep. But
on Highway 7.
On Highway 7, about 10 miles south of Jasper, there's a big old scenic overlook, and everybody stopped there where you look down into that valley.
Yeah,
That's where we were sitting when he come up that hill going towards Jasper.
Let me explain. We've got a lot of tourists in town. Highway 7 south of Harrison from Jasper to Russellville. At one point, I think you can see halfway to the Atlantic Ocean to the east and Pacific to the other.
And that's where we were sitting the other morning.
I mean, you could see all over Arkansas on Highway 7.
Right. And so you look in your owner's manual and you decide if you fall under normal driving conditions or you fall under severe use or work use, and go off of that. But at least follow what the owner's manual recommends on transmission services and all the other maintenance that's in there. And we do them. We service transmissions. We do, I don't know, I'd say between 5 or 6 or more a week, you know, on various types of vehicles. We do imports, Asian imports, and we do all the American cars. And, you know, there are a few floating around out there that now don't have transmission dipsticks. They don't have a dipstick tube.
So how do you fill them?
Well, they fill in various ways. And some of those we don't have the adapters on our machine for that. But, you know, that's not that many. It's not that many of them.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, we covered all the questions. Let's see. Let's brag about your front end alignment machine.
Sure, man. That thing was hopping last week.
Yeah, I was down there last week. Tony lining everything. He's got everything straight as a line around here, doesn't he?
Yeah, we're gonna have to slow him down a little bit. Yeah, our alignment rack is very busy. We've already got about a half a dozen things on the schedule for this week to do on it. And man, it is a top-notch piece of equipment, and Tony does a bang-up job. And you know, he's good help. And you know, we can have the greatest machine in the world, but you put me on it, and it's you need somebody that knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah. Well,
And he's the guy. If you got front end,
let me back up. When was it? This is what, July? Back in March, I guess it was. I bought 4 new Cooper tires. Did the quick strut, did the bearings and stuff. Thought, well, you know, might as well just do some maintenance on the vehicle. Took it to Tony, realigned it, drives like brand new.
sure.
I'm not kidding. You know, if you've got a vehicle at say 120,000, think, well, do I trade it or do just want to maintain it and keep going? Come talk to Mike. Come talk to Tony. Do some quick struts. Do some new bearings. Check out that front end. Realign it. And I guarantee you're going to be thrilled. I don't care what you're driving.
Right.
It's going to be good.
I have that conversation just about on a weekly basis with people when they get 125,000 miles on a vehicle. And a lot of them will ask me, man, should I get rid of this thing or what do you think I ought to do? And that always varies by what the person, you know, if you want a new car, by all means get one. Mm-hmm. But if you're really wanting to maybe if you like the car you have and you're just concerned about the mileage, you can go over it and figure out what needs to be done, what maintenance or repairs need to be done, and put pen to paper and figure it out. A lot of times, you know, you can fix everything you need to do on your car, and it won't equal 2 or 3 months worth of payments on some of these new ones.
That's how it was with me. I did the pencil paper, you know, and I figured for the $1,000 that I could put in it, it's going to last me probably another 3-4 years as long as I keep it maintained.
Yeah, and that's pretty good. A pretty good decision on your part for $1,000 if you can drive for 3 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And I'm thrilled with how well it handles. People get in, why is this thing so quiet? Well, good parts and good alignment.
Yeah.
The alignment, and people don't realize that the front end alignment will actually, how can I explain it? It puts everything back the way it was originally. No matter what you're driving, Ford, Dodge, Chevrolet, it puts it back the way the factory wanted it to.
Right. You know, people have heard me say this, but our machine, you know, we can, if your vehicle has a barcode on it, we scan the barcode. Mm-hmm. And we get right down to the nitty-gritty on your alignment specs. There's no flipping through a book and trying to figure out, well, does it have this package or that package? Did it have a heavy-duty towing suspension? You know, different things. And sometimes that affects the alignment specs. Mm-hmm. You know, you've done them for years. Mm-hmm. Well, this way here, when we scan that thing with a barcode, we know what it is. We know what it's equipped with, and the alignment specs are spot on. And then we adjust it in, and that machine is so precise. You know, when you're doing tow down to the 100th of an inch, you're getting pretty darn precise on the front end of a vehicle.
Well, and then you have all major brands of motor oils.
And then some.
And then some.
And not so major, but no, we do, absolutely. Pennzoil, Haviland, Quaker State, Valvoline, Motorcraft, and I'm forgetting some.
Phillips
I know
66,
Quaker State.
Quaker State.
Little Exxon Superflow.
Castrol GTX.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then we keep 3 types of synthetic oils. We have AMSoil, we have Mobil One, and we have Castrol Syntec Edge. So we keep 3 different brands of synthetics. And, man, we are seeing a surge in synthetic oil changes.
Yep.
It has really went up in the last couple or so years. The percentage of oil changes we do that are with synthetic oil, it is on a steady rise.
That's good.
Yep.
Minute Mechanics located Highway 201 North across from Salvation Army. 425-3135 is the number. Give Mike and the gang a call. They're ready to serve you this week. No holidays. 20 through 24. They'll be there 40 hours this week.
At least.
Gee, thanks, right?
Thanks a lot, Dale.
Give Mike a call, 425-3135. Looking forward to serving you this week at Minute Mechanic on Highway 201 North. It's time for the news. We're going to be joined by Elka King here in a few minutes. We'll be talking a little gun training. Stick around. Be right back.